Hello, Sandy City employees. Welcome to our annual Sandy City harassment training. Harassment is a serious subject. It is the city's policy to regard sexual harassment as a very serious matter and to prohibit it in the workplace or among the workforce by any person and in any form. The city also prohibits inappropriate sexual conduct, which includes, but is not limited to, unwelcome sexual flirtations, advances, propositions or touching, verbal or written abuse of a sexual nature, graphic verbal comments about an individual's body, sexually degrading words used to describe an individual, display in the workplace of sexually suggestive objects or pictures, and any other conduct of a sexual nature which is inappropriate for the workplace. Each employee is responsible for creating an atmosphere free of discrimination and harassment, sexual or otherwise unlawful, and for respecting the rights of their coworkers. It is important for all employees to understand the protected classes that are protected against harassment and discrimination. Those classes are race, color, religion, sex, pregnancy, childbirth, or pregnancy-related conditions, national origin, age, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, genetics, protected veteran status, or any other class protected by applicable federal, state, and local employment laws. If you feel that you have been subjected to or witnessed any job-related harassment based on sex, race, or any other protected characteristic we have listed, or believe you or someone else has been treated in an unlawful or discriminatory manner, you shall file an oral or written complaint of harassment, discrimination, or retaliation, or all of the above with the Division of Human Resources, your immediate supervisor, or any other supervisor within your direct chain of command. If the investigation concludes that an employee has inappropriately harassed or discriminated against another person, appropriate disciplinary action will be taken against the offending employee up to and including termination. There are two types of harassment: quid pro quo and hostile work environment. Quid pro quo is the traditional form of harassment that we see the most often, involving the promise of a job, benefit, or threat of a detriment in return for sexual favors, typically seen in cases involving sexual harassment. Hostile work environment, on the other hand, is conduct based on a protected characteristic, as we've mentioned earlier, creating an intimidating, hostile work environment that constitutes harassment, regardless of whether it is of an economic impact upon the employee, and it must be identified as severe or pervasive and unwelcome. So the question is, how do we deal with sexual harassment?
Reaction 3, I am who I am, take it or leave it, is an honest, straightforward way to live. But does that mean you never change your behavior? You never edit what you say or do to avoid offending others?
Oh, yes! Son of a... Big gorilla!
Most of us instinctively adjust our behavior to fit our surroundings. We filter what we say and do. Most of us.
George was a much greatly admired friend of all.
Hello. Oh, hey, what's up with you? What?
Missing him dearly.
Oh, no, nothing really. It's just a family thing. No big deal.
We all know people who are missing some critical social filters. They seem to be unaware of where they are or who they are with.
Are you kidding? I don't know half these people. Okay, yeah.
Whatever pops into their head comes straight out of their mouth. Filters are a natural part of life as a social human being. At work, these same filters are the key to putting our sexuality on hold and showing respect to others. For example, let's say you think someone you work with would enjoy a suggestive cartoon or email. Before you send it, ask yourself, would I send this to my grandma? This is appropriately called the grandma filter. Or let's say you think someone you work with looks particularly attractive one day. Rather than offering a suggestive remark about your coworker's body, ask yourself, How would I compliment my grandma?
That's a pretty outfit.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. It was on sale.
See how it works? Compliment someone's fashion, not their body. Or better yet, compliment their work rather than their appearance. When in doubt, ask yourself,
Would you say that to your grandma?
If the answer is no, don't say it, don't send it, or do it. Because you know better.
you are who you are. Maybe you can't control how you think, but with your grandma filter, you have complete control over how you interact with others at work.
Please remember your grandma filter. Next, how do we ask ourselves if our behavior is welcome? So to avoid being accused of harassment, ask yourself these questions. Would I want any of my behaviors to appear on the evening news or to be known by my mother or spouse? Is there equal power between me and the person I am interacting with? Would I want someone else to act this way toward a person I am in a relationship with? And finally, could my behavior make others around me uncomfortable? Supervisor responsibilities. Supervisors are required to monitor workplace behavior and enforce respect. Treat all complaints seriously and confidentially. Do not ignore any allegations. Respond to all allegations immediately. Investigate as appropriate. Take appropriate corrective action. Follow up. Ensure there is no retaliation and document your actions. And please remember that Human Resources is always here if you have questions. Next, we're going to discuss the Sandy City complaint procedure. So what do you do if you feel that you or someone you work with is being harassed? So this is in the pamphlet that each one of you can either print off or that you have received in new hire orientation. So if you feel you have been subjected to or witnessed any job-related harassment based on sex, race, or any other protected characteristic that we have listed earlier, or believe that you or someone else has been treated in an unlawful or discriminatory manner, you shall file an oral or written complaint of harassment, discrimination, or retaliation, or all of the above, with the Division of Human Resources, your immediate supervisor, or any other supervisor within the direct chain of command. If the investigation concludes that an employee has inappropriately harassed or discriminated against another person, appropriate disciplinary action will be taken against the offending employee up to and including termination. The city prohibits any form of retaliation against you for filing a complaint under this policy or for assisting in a complaint investigation. So please make sure that you are familiar with the pamphlet that will be available to you for download, or we also have copies of them in Human Resources. This goes over what the complaint procedure is, the different types of harassment, such as verbal, nonverbal, and physical, and what the protected classes are as well. Sandy employees are a team committed to enhancing the quality of life in our community through service, partnership, and progress. We all should be examples of our Sandy City values, our ASPIRE acronym for accountability, safety and security, people-focused, integrity, respect, and excellence. And if all of us do our part to be able to be examples of these values, we can have a healthy and productive workplace. Thank you for your time.